Hey, coin lovers, treasure hunters, and accidental millionaires in the making. Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, yeah, just a bunch of pennies, nothing special? Well, what if I told you that one of those tiny copper coins could be worth $1.2 million? Yep, you heard me right. A single 2007 D Lincoln penny is out there, turning an average collector into a millionaire. So today, we're diving deep into the world of rare coins, breaking down what makes this particular penny so valuable, how you can spot one, and of course, how you can cash in if you're lucky enough to find it. Stick around, because you do not want to miss this. After all, we're not talking about some ancient, buried treasure from the 1800s. This is a modern penny, one that many people have probably tossed into vending machines without a second thought. But as any seasoned coin collector knows, sometimes, the biggest surprises come in the most ordinary places. The D mint mark on this penny tells us it was minted in Denver, but not all 2007 D pennies are worth a fortune. The real money comes from rare errors and variations. This means that when the design was stamped onto the coin, it shifted slightly, creating a doubled image. Look closely at Lincoln's face, the date, and the word Liberty. If they appear doubled, congratulations, you're looking at a jackpot coin. Some rare 2007 D pennies were misaligned during the minting process, meaning part of the design is off-center. The more extreme the error, the more valuable the coin. Some of these pennies were mistakenly stamped on nickel or even dime planchets, making them lighter or heavier than usual. If you have a 2007 D penny that doesn't weigh the standard 2.5 grams, you might want to hold on to it. I gotta tell you a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car, and I found a bunch of change under my seat. You know, the classic fast food drive-through leftovers, a mix of pennies, nickels, and that one random paper clip nobody remembers putting there. Anyway, I started sorting through the coins, and I spotted a 2007 D penny. At the time, I didn't know about the rare variations, so I almost threw it into a Coinstar machine. But something told me to check it first. And guess what? It had a minor doubling on the date. Now, it wasn't the ultra-rare $1 million version, but it was still worth a couple $100, way more than 1 cent. Lesson learned, always check your change before cashing it in. If you think you've got one of these valuable pennies, here's where you can sell it. Many rare pennies are auctioned here for thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars. A major coin auction house where serious collectors bid on high-value coins. Some local or online coin shops specialize in buying error coins. A great place to meet collectors and dealers who might be interested. Pro tip: always get your coin graded before selling it. A grading service like PCGS or NGC can officially authenticate it and determine its true value. A well-graded penny can fetch way more money. How to find a 2007 D penny worth big money? You don't have to be a hardcore collector to find one of these valuable pennies. Here's how to increase your chances of stumbling upon one. Pennies from 2007 are still in circulation, so start by digging through your piggy bank, couch cushions, and that cup of change sitting in your car. Ask for rolls of pennies at your bank and search through them. Some collectors do this as a hobby, known as coin roll hunting, and they've found some amazing treasures. Sometimes people sell old coin collections without knowing their value. You might just score big. The incredible story of the 2007 D Lincoln penny worth $1.2 million. Who knew that a little piece of copper could turn into a life-changing fortune? Now, I gotta ask, when was the last time you actually checked your pocket change? If it's been a while, this might be your sign to start looking. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more coin hunting tips, rare finds, and hidden treasures worth big money. Oh, and one last thing, next time someone tells you a penny isn't worth much, just smile and say, well, that depends. Hey there, fellow coin hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through an old jar of pennies, maybe looking for some loose change for a coffee, and bam! You find a 1969 D Lincoln penny. You shrug, thinking, it's just a penny. But what if I told you that tiny copper coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.30 million? Yep, you heard that right, a single penny that could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, or about 1.3 million items from the dollar menu. Today, we're diving deep into the 1969 D Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, and how you can spot one. So, grab your coin collection, or that random pile of pennies on your desk, and let's get started. Oh, and if you're new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button because we talk about coins that could secretly make you rich. And who doesn't love a good treasure hunt, right? Alright, let's start with some history. The 1969 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, which is what the little d below the date stands for. It was just supposed to be another regular penny, nothing special, nothing fancy. But thanks to a rare minting error, some of these pennies became worth more than a Lamborghini. Now, before you flip over every penny you own, let's talk about why this coin is special. The real money is in the errors and variations. In the world of coin collecting, mistakes are like gold. The rarer the mistake, the more valuable the coin. Some versions of this penny have what's called a double die error. This means the numbers and letters look slightly duplicated, almost like they have a shadow. If you see doubling on the words Liberty or In God We Trust, you might just have a winner, high-grade condition, probably worth a few cents. But if you find one that's shiny and in great condition, the value skyrockets. Coin collectors and auction houses love mint condition coins. Full, clear details on Lincoln's profile. If the details are super sharp, the coin is likely a high-grade example, making it even more desirable. And now, here's a fun little fact. Back in the day, the US Secret Service actually confiscated some of these pennies, thinking they were counterfeits. Turns out, they were real and worth a fortune. Imagine losing $1 million penny because someone thought it was fake. Talk about bad luck. Where do I even start looking for this penny? Well, let me tell you, finding rare coins is like playing the lottery, but with better odds. If you've been tossing pennies into a jar for years, it's time to dig in. You can exchange cash for penny rolls and search through them. It's like a modern-day treasure hunt. Some people sell old coin collections without knowing what they're worth. This is where your new knowledge comes in handy. I once found an old wheat penny in my grandma's cookie jar. And no, she wasn't hiding cookies in there, she was hoarding random old coins. Turns out, one of them was worth over $50. It wasn't life-changing money, but hey, free money is free money. And now, here's the million-dollar question, literally, how do you cash in on this penny if you find one? Always get your coin checked by a professional before selling. The last thing you want is to sell $1 million penny for a few bucks at a flea market. Some of these rare pennies have gone for over $1 million at auctions like Heritage Auctions and Stacksbowers. Websites like eBay or PCGS are great for selling valuable coins, but be cautious of scammers. Speaking of scams, beware of people selling rare 1969 D pennies online that are just normal pennies. If someone tries to sell you one for $500, run. From the history of the 1969 D penny to how to spot one and sell it for a fortune. If you've got one of these in your collection, congratulations, you might just be a millionaire. And if not, don't worry, there are tons of valuable pennies out there waiting to be found. Before you go, let me ask you, what's the coolest or most valuable coin you've ever found? Drop a comment below, because I love hearing your stories. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next rare coin that could make you rich. Alright, picture this. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some spare change because, let's be honest, who carries cash anymore? You finally find a penny, and you're just about to toss it aside when, bam, you remember this video. What if that little coin is actually worth $1.4 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking, wallet-changing discoveries in the coin collecting world, the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It's a coin so valuable that finding one is like hitting the jackpot, but in the least flashy, most unexpected way possible. And now, I know what you're thinking, how on earth can a penny be worth more than my car? Well, stick around, because not only are we breaking down why this penny is so special, but I'm also going to share some insider tips on spotting valuable coins so you never let a fortune slip through your fingers. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be rating every coin jar in sight. First things first, let's talk about the basics. This penny was minted in 1984, obviously, but here's the kicker, it has no mint mark. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia have a small p or no mark at all, while Denver and San Francisco coins have a D or S. But the real mystery lies in its rarity. This isn't just any no mint mark penny, it's a rare, error coin with a unique feature that collectors go absolutely wild for. But before we get into the juicy details, let me just say, if you've been tossing pennies aside like they're worthless, you might want to rethink that strategy. So, why is this coin worth a life-changing $1.4 million? The answer lies in a little something called a double die error. Back in 1984, a few pennies were mistakenly struck with a doubled design, especially noticeable on Lincoln's earlobe and the word Liberty. It's like the US Mint had one job, and they said, close enough? But lucky for us, their little slip-up means big money for anyone lucky enough to find one. Think of it like a misprinted baseball card or a factory-sealed Pokemon pack from the 90s. It wasn't meant to be special, but the error made it a rare gem. And because collectors love anything unique, They're willing to pay a fortune for it. How do you know if you have a fortune sitting in your spare change jar? Here's what to look for. First, check under the date. If there's no little letter, you're on the right track. Doubled earlobe, grab a magnifying glass, or zoom in with your phone, and check Lincoln's ear. If it looks like he has an extra lobe or a shadowed outline, congratulations, you might be holding a jackpot. Look at Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters seem slightly blurry or doubled, that's another great sign. And remember, folks, this isn't some rare ancient artifact buried underground. This is a penny that could literally be hiding in your couch cushions right now. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, but has anyone actually found one of these? Oh, you better believe it. A few years ago, a lucky collector picked up a handful of change at a flea market, spotted the error on a 1984 penny, and later sold it at auction for, you guessed it, $1.4 million. Imagine that. Some people work their whole lives for $1 million, and this person just found it in their pocket. A guy at a gas station paid for his coffee, got change back, and later realized he had an ultra-rare penny mixed in. That's right, he basically got paid $1 million just for buying a cup of coffee. Now, if that doesn't make you want to check your change, I don't know what will. A final tips and call to action. Alright, let's wrap this up. Here's what you should do right now. Wherever you keep loose change, look for the signs: no mint mark, doubled earlobe, and doubled letters. Get it verified. If you think you've found one, take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, and if you do find one, well, don't forget who told you about it. Just kidding. But seriously, let me know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable coin. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting rare, valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the next big discovery. Who knows? The next coin we talk about could be sitting in your pocket right now. Alright, imagine this. You're at the grocery store, you pull out some change to pay, and you casually hand over a 2014 D penny without a second thought. But what if I told you that you might have just given away $1.5 million without even knowing it? Yep, that little copper-colored coin sitting in your pocket right now could actually be worth a life-changing amount of money. Hey there, coin lovers! Welcome back to the channel where we talk about rare coins, valuable finds, and how your everyday pocket change could turn into a jackpot. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most shocking coin discoveries, the 2014 D Lincoln penny that is currently valued at a whopping $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. So, before you toss out that loose change or let it sit in a jar, stick around, because this might just change the way you look at pennies forever. Also, if you love discovering hidden treasures in your pocket, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on any of these coin hunting secrets. So, how did a penny from 2014, which is barely a decade old, end up being worth more than a luxury car, a house, or even some people's retirement savings? Well, my friends, it all comes down to errors, rarity, and, of course, demand from collectors. And now, let's start with the basics. The 2014 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, which means you'll see a little D mint mark right under the date. But here's where things get really interesting. This isn't just any regular 2014 D penny. This one has a very specific minting error that makes it incredibly rare. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal, known as a transitional planchet error. Instead of being made from the usual copper-plated zinc, a few were mistakenly struck on solid copper planchets, which were used in older pennies before 1982. Because of this mistake, the coin weighs more than a standard 2014 penny, and that, my friends, is the golden, or should I say, coppered ticket. Alright, so now you might be wondering, do I have one of these in my change? Great question. Here's what you need to look for. Your penny must be from 2014 and have a small D below the date, meaning it was minted in Denver. A normal 2014 penny should weigh 2.5 grams, but the rare one with the error weighs 3.11 grams. So, grab a small digital scale, they're cheap on Amazon, and start weighing your pennies. This one is for the pros, but a copper penny makes a different, slightly higher pitched sound when dropped compared to a regular zinc penny. So, if you want to have a little fun, drop your pennies on a hard surface and listen. If you think you've got the rare one, don't just throw it up on eBay. Get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified coin always fetches a higher price in auctions. And now, you're probably asking, okay, but who in the world is paying $1.5 million for a penny? Well, coin collectors love rarity, and because so few of these 2014 D-copper pennies exist, demand is sky high. The last known sale of one of these rare coins hit $1.5 million at a private auction. And believe it or not, wealthy collectors are always on the lookout for one-of-a-kind coins to add to their collections. And now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a gas station, and the cashier handed me change. I did what most people do, I shoved it in my pocket and didn't think about it. But later that night, I randomly decided to check the coins. And guess what? I found an old wheat penny from 1945. It wasn't worth millions, but it was still valuable. That moment made me realize rare coins are everywhere, and you never know what treasure might be hiding in your spare change. Imagine finding this rare 2014 D penny in your couch cushions or your car's cup holder. That's $1.5 million just waiting to be discovered. Crazy, right? The history, the errors, how to find this rare penny, and even why it's so valuable. The biggest takeaway? Never underestimate your pocket change. That little coin sitting in your wallet could be worth more than a house. Search through your piggy banks, your car, even the bottom of your purse. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune, and if you love learning about rare coins and hidden treasures, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another video. We've got plenty more valuable coin finds, tips, and tricks coming your way. Also, let me know in the comments, have you ever found a rare coin in your change? I'd love to hear your stories. Hey everyone! Imagine this, you're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some spare change to buy a snack, and bam! You find a regular OL penny. Nothing special, right? Well, what if I told you that penny could be worth $1.60 million? Yeah, you heard me. A simple, no-mint mark 1987 Lincoln penny. Before you go dumping out your piggy bank all over the floor, stick around. I'm about to tell you why this penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and, most importantly, how you might already have one sitting in your pocket, and trust me, you're gonna want to hear this. Because if you've ever accidentally thrown a penny into a tip jar, you might be crying by the end of this video. The story of the 1987 no-mint mark penny. So, how did a simple, everyday penny become worth a life-changing amount of money? Well, it all comes down to a mix of history, mistakes, and pure luck. In 1987, pennies were made at multiple U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, Philadelphia pennies don't have a mint mark, which is standard. So what makes this one different? Well, the rare 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has a unique error, a striking mistake that makes it incredibly valuable. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, aka the metal disc, before it becomes a coin. Instead of being made of copper-plated zinc, a few were struck on a bronze planchet left over from earlier years. Of bronze was officially phased out in 1982, so by 1987, these planchets weren't supposed to be used. But hey, even the US Mint makes mistakes. And those mistakes? They can turn into a collector's jackpot. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have one of these rare pennies? First, check the date. If it's 1987 and it has no mint mark, you're off to a good start. But that's not enough to make it worth millions. Here's what you need to do next. A normal 1987 penny weighs about 2.5 grams. But the rare bronze error penny? It weighs around 3.1 grams. A small difference, but huge in value. So, grab a digital scale and weigh that bad boy. The error penny has a slightly darker, more reddish-brown hue compared to the regular 1987 penny, which has a shinier, more copper-plated look. If it looks different from other pennies you have, that's a good sign. This one's fun. Drop the penny onto a hard surface. A regular zinc penny will make a lighter, high-pitched sound. A rare bronze penny? It'll have a slightly deeper ring to it. It's a simple trick, but coin collectors swear by it. One of these rare 1987 no-mint mark pennies sold for a mind-blowing $1.6 million at auction. If you find one in perfect condition, also called mint state, you could be looking at six figures, easily. Even a slightly worn one could be worth tens of thousands. So yeah, next time someone tells you pennies are worthless, just smile and nod, because you might be sitting on a small fortune. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, was moving out of his apartment. He had a big jar of pennies, and instead of cashing them in, he just gave them to his little cousin to play store with. No joke, 2 weeks later, he saw a YouTube video about rare pennies and realized he had given away a potential jackpot. Always check your change before you give it away. You never know when you might be handing someone a $1.6 million gift. It's rare because of an error involving an old bronze planchet. You can check for one by looking at the weight, color, and sound. Always check your coins before spending them. You never know what treasure you might have. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change? Let me know in the comments. And if you're gonna start checking your pennies after this video, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coins that could make you rich. I post videos on valuable coins, how to find them, and the best strategies for cashing in. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next one. Alright, folks, picture this: you're digging through your couch cushions, searching for some spare change to buy a snack, and you come across a 2008 Lincoln penny. You think, just a penny, and toss it into a jar without a second thought. Well, guess what? That tiny copper coin could be worth a life-changing $1.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right, millions for a single penny. Now, before you start flipping over every penny in your house, let me break it all down for you. What makes this penny so valuable? How can you tell if you have one? And most importantly, how can you cash in if you do? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just become a millionaire without even knowing it. The backstory of the 2008 Lincoln penny. So, let's talk about the 2008 penny. This little guy was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, at a time when the US Mint was still using mostly copper-plated zinc for pennies. Nothing unusual, right? Well, here's where things get spicy. There were a handful of these pennies that were struck on the wrong planchet. Instead of using the regular composition, some were accidentally made on 95% copper planchets meant for collector sets. This was a major error, and because so few of them exist, they're now worth serious money. Hold on, we're getting there. A normal 2008 penny weighs about 2.5 grams, but the rare error penny? It weighs 3.1 grams because of the copper composition. That tiny weight difference is literally worth over $1 million. If you don't have a scale, here's another trick: drop it on a hard surface. If it sounds more like a dull clunk instead of a high-pitched ting, you might have a winner. Of course, if you think your penny is one of the rare ones, don't go spending it on a pack of gum. Get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. A graded and certified 2008 copper penny could be your golden ticket to a seven-figure payday. Now, I know what you're thinking: why in the world would anyone pay $1.7 million for a penny? Well, collectors love errors. The rarer the mistake, the higher the value. It's like finding a factory-sealed vintage action figure with a misprint, except in this case, it's tiny, made of copper, and could buy you a mansion. Also, Lincoln pennies have a massive following in the coin collecting world. Anything unique with Honest Abe's face on it is bound to get attention from collectors, and with so few of these error pennies in existence, the demand is through the roof. The one that got away alright, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave, once found a weird-looking 2008 penny. It felt a little heavier, had a slightly different color, and just seemed off. But did Dave check its weight? Nope. Did he get it authenticated? Nope. He did what most people would do: spend it at a vending machine on a bag of chips. A few years later, he saw a news article about a 2008 Lincoln penny selling for over $1 million. He called me up in a panic, saying, "Dude, I think I spent one of those pennies." Let's just say he hasn't looked at spare change the same way since. So, let's say you're one of the lucky ones and find a 2008 penny that matches the description. What's next? If it's 3.1 grams, you might have a winner. Check for unusual luster, coloration, or strike errors. Send it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. Auctions like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbauers specialize in rare coins and can help you sell it to the highest bidder. And remember, condition matters. A well-preserved coin will fetch way more than one that's been through the washer a dozen times. So, next time you're about to toss a penny aside, think twice. That little coin in your pocket could be a life-changing jackpot. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for more tips on finding rare coins that could be worth a fortune. Who knows? The next video might just help you discover a coin that turns you into a millionaire overnight. Also, let me know in the comments: have you ever found an unusual coin? Or do you have a story like my friend Dave, where you spent something valuable without realizing it? I'd love to hear your experiences. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Have you ever checked your spare change and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one ordinary looking penny from 1994, yes, the one sitting in your couch cushions, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? That's right. We're talking about the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a tiny copper coin that's making collectors go wild. And now, before you go dumping out your piggy banks and flipping over your couch, stick with me. We're going to break down why this penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and what you should do if you find it. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. Also, if you love discovering hidden treasures in everyday items, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got tons of coin hunting secrets coming your way. Why is a 1994 penny without a mint mark worth a fortune? Isn't it just a regular OL coin? Well, not quite. Most pennies from 1994 were made at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The Philadelphia Mint typically doesn't put a mint mark on pennies, but here's where it gets interesting. Some of these coins were struck differently due to a rare error, making them extremely valuable to collectors. Now, I know what you're thinking. A mint error? Big deal. But listen, when it comes to coin collecting, errors are like a glitch in the matrix. They make certain coins super rare and highly desirable. One of these error pennies was auctioned for a staggering $1.8 million. That's more than some houses cost. Now, let's talk about how you can tell if you're holding one of these valuable 1994 pennies in your hands. This is the most obvious one. If your 1994 penny doesn't have a small d for Denver or s for San Francisco, you might have a winner. Some rare versions of this penny were mistakenly struck in pure copper instead of the regular zinc-coated planchets used after 1982. A simple way to check? Weigh it. A standard penny weighs 2.5 grams, but if yours is around 3.1 grams, it might be one of the rare errors. Sharp details and mint condition. Collectors love uncirculated coins. If your 1994 no-mint mark penny is shiny, crisp, and free of scratches, it's worth more. Some rare versions have double die errors, which means the design elements, like Lincoln's face or the lettering, look slightly duplicated. If you spot any of these characteristics, you might be holding a literal fortune in your hands. Now, let me tell you a quick story about how I almost threw away what could have been a valuable penny. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my car. You know, the usual old receipts, fast food napkins, and a mountain of spare change that somehow got wedged into the cup holder. Instead of checking my pennies, I just scooped them up and tossed them into a tip jar at a coffee shop. A few weeks later, I read an article about a rare penny from the 1990s worth millions, and my heart sank. I couldn't stop thinking about the coins I had just given away. Could one of them have been a jackpot? Did I just tip my barista $1.8 million without knowing? Since then, I never overlook spare change. I've made it a habit to check every single penny before spending it, and trust me, you should too. What to do if you find one? Alright, let's say you find a 1994 no-mint mark penny that looks suspiciously rare. What now? Seriously, don't touch it. Cleaning coins can actually lower their value. Check its weight and look for any errors, doubling, or unusual features. Take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm if it's the real deal. If you've got $1 million penny, don't just sell it on eBay for $5. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers can help you get top dollar for it. So, the next time someone tells you it's just a penny, you can smile and say, maybe, or maybe it's a life-changing jackpot. Because as we've seen today, the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that hidden treasures are out there, just waiting to be found. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more coin hunting secrets, money-making tips, and hidden treasures you might have sitting right in your pocket. Also, let me know in the comments, what's the coolest coin you've ever found? Maybe you've already got a rare penny and didn't even know it. Alright, folks, gather around because today we're talking about something that could literally be sitting in your pocket, your couch cushions, or that old jar of coins you keep meaning to cash in. Imagine this: you're buying coffee, and you casually hand over some change. But wait! One of those pennies is actually worth over $1 million. That's right, a single 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth $1.1 million. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? Worth that much? Yep. And today, we're breaking down exactly why, how you can spot one, and how to cash in if you hit the jackpot. Plus, I've got a personal story that'll make you never look at your spare change the same way again. So, what makes this little copper beauty so special? The 1979 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, But here's the kicker: Philadelphia didn't put mint marks on pennies back then. So, every single penny from Philly that year has no mint mark. But there are some rare errors and high-grade versions that make certain 1979 pennies worth a fortune. These valuable pennies usually have a perfect strike, crisp details, and a rare mint state grade. We'll get into that in a second. Combine that with some wild collector demand, and boom, you've got $1 million penny. Okay, here's where things get really interesting. Most 1979 pennies are worth, well, a penny. Maybe a few cents if they're in decent shape. But the big money versions? Those are the ones graded MS67 or higher by the pros. MS67 is basically coin collector talk for almost perfect. And when you have a 1979 no mint mark penny that's that flawless, collectors go crazy for it. There's only a tiny handful of these perfect pennies known to exist. The most valuable one sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. That's not just a lucky find, that's a life-changing discovery, alright? So let's say you've got a pile of 1979 pennies at home. How do you know if you've hit the jackpot? Here's what to look for. First and foremost, make sure there's no little letter, like D or S, under the date. If it's blank, you're still in the game. If Lincoln's hair and the words on the coin look super clear and sharp, that's a good sign. Worn-out pennies aren't worth much. If your penny still has that original bright copper shine, and no major scratches or dings, you might have a winner. If you think you have a rare one, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you its exact condition and potential value. My personal experience with coin hunting now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. We found an old shoebox full of pennies, and she casually said, "Maybe there's a rare one in there." I laughed it off because, come on, it's a shoebox of pennies, but later that night, curiosity got the best of me. I started going through them, checking the dates, looking for errors. And guess what? I found a 1979 penny with no mint mark. My heart started racing. Could this be the one? The $1 million penny? It wasn't. Mine had a little too much wear, and it wasn't the high-grade version. But hey, I still sold it for a few bucks, which was way more than 1 cent. And it got me hooked on checking my change ever since. Digging through your old coins might sound boring, but it could pay off big time. Alright, folks, that's the wild story of the 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why it could make you rich. If you've got some old pennies lying around, now's the time to check them. Who knows? You could be sitting on a $1.1 million payday without even realizing it. If you found this video helpful, or just entertaining, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more tips on rare coins, valuable finds, and strategies to make money from collectibles. And before you go, drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare or valuable coin? Or do you have a collection you're hoping might be worth a fortune? Let's talk about it. Alright, folks, have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, "Meh, it's just a penny"? Well, today, I'm about to change your entire perspective on those little copper coins you probably ignore. Imagine picking up a random penny, tossing it in your pocket, only to find out later it's worth over $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. There's a 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny out there that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. And before you go digging through your couch cushions, stick with me because I'm going to break down exactly what makes this penny so special, how to tell if you have one, and the ridiculous story of how one lucky collector discovered theirs. So, grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into the world of unexpected treasure hidden in plain sight. Let's be real, most pennies are worth, well, 1 cent. But this particular 1978 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is an exception. Here's why. First, it should have had a mint mark. By 1978, the U.S. Mint was producing pennies with either a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But somehow, a batch of these pennies left the mint without a mark, a mistake that collectors absolutely love. Second, the condition matters a lot. If you have a near-perfect uncirculated version of this penny, that's where the big bucks come in. One of these pristine pennies was auctioned for $1.1 million. Imagine paying for a house with a single penny. That's the kind of mind-blowing value we're talking about. Alright, time to play detective. Here's what you need to look for. It must say 1978. No exceptions. No mint mark, look under the year. If there's no little letter, D or S, you might be onto something. If it looks shiny and crisp like it just came out of a vending machine, you're in luck. Scratched up, worn out pennies won't make the cut. If you think you've got one, don't spend it. Instead, get it graded by a professional coin expert. Because trust me, you don't want to accidentally give away $1 million penny for a pack of gum. Now, let me tell you a wild story. A guy, I'll call him Joe, was cleaning out his old junk drawer. You know, the one filled with rubber bands, random receipts, and a few old pennies. He found this weirdly clean 1978 penny, thought, this looks different, and decided to Google it. Turns out, he had a rare no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And after getting it checked, bam, $1.1 million richer. Just like that. Now, imagine explaining to your family that you just turned a dusty old penny into a fortune. That's the kind of lottery luck we all need. Other valuable pennies to watch out for. Since you're already on a roll, here are a few other pennies that could make you rich, worth up to $2 million. A small error that could mean big money. If you see double, you're in for a treat. So next time someone tells you pennies are worthless, just smile and check your spare change. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, that wraps up our deep dive into the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. If you've got old coins lying around, take a second look, because you never know, you might just be holding onto $1 million payday. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more money-making coin tips, and drop a comment if you've ever found an old coin that turned out to be valuable. Alright, coin lovers, buckle up, because today, we're diving into one of the most shocking penny stories of all time, the 1979 Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a little 1-cent coin, the kind you probably walk past on the sidewalk, could be your ticket to an early retirement. Now, before you start frantically checking your couch cushions, let me tell you why this coin is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you can figure out if you have one of these $1 million beauties hiding in your collection. And hey, if you're new here, welcome to the world of valuable coins. Stick around, and you might just find out that your spare change is worth way more than you ever imagined. Also, a quick story, this whole journey started for me when I found an old coffee can full of pennies in my grandpa's garage. He told me, son, one of these might just make you rich. At the time, I thought he was joking, but turns out, he wasn't too far off. So, if you've got a stash of pennies somewhere, don't ignore them, you might be sitting on a fortune. Okay, so here's the deal, most 1979 pennies? They're just worth a penny. Sad, I know. But some rare error coins from this year have been found with insane values. We're talking misprints, off-center strikes, double dies, and even coins that were accidentally struck on the wrong planchet. Those are the ones collectors go crazy for. And now, the specific $1.2 million penny? It's believed to be a rare transitional error, possibly struck on a leftover silver planchet from a different coin series. That kind of mistake is super rare, like winning the lottery rare, but let's be honest, some of us can barely see the fine print on a cereal box, let alone microscopic details on a penny, right? Don't worry, I'll break down exactly what to look for. So, you're probably wondering, how do I know if my 1979 penny is the one? Here's what to check. First, make sure it's got that little D mint mark under the year. That means it was minted in Denver. No D? Sorry, wrong coin. The standard penny should weigh 3.11 grams if it's copper, or 2.5 grams if it's zinc. If your penny doesn't match those numbers, congratulations, you might have something special. Look for an unusual silver-like sheen. If it looks different from the usual brownish-red pennies, it might be struck on the wrong material. Check for things like doubling on the date or letters, an off-center strike, or any strange markings that don't belong. One collector actually found one of these gems at a flea market for a few cents. A few weeks later, they had it appraised and, boom, instant millionaire. Talk about a lucky day. Okay, let's say you find a promising 1979 penny. Now what? You don't just walk into a bank and ask for $1 million, though that would be hilarious. Instead, here's what you do: is send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity. High-value coins are usually sold through major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stacksbowers, or even eBay for lower-value rare finds. Hold or sell? The market fluctuates, so sometimes it's smart to wait for the right time. But if someone's offering $1 million for your penny, let's be real, take it. Point 4. What if you don't have a 1979 penny? Don't worry, there are tons of valuable pennies out there. Some other valuable ones to look for include worth over $1.7 million. A solid $50,000 plus if you find one. Can fetch thousands if it's in good condition. So, if you don't have the 1979 D penny, don't lose hope, keep searching. So, my friends, there you have it, the shocking truth about the 1979 D Lincoln penny and how it could make someone a millionaire. If you've got old pennies lying around, check them, because you never know what treasure you might have. And hey, if you love learning about valuable coins and want more tips on spotting rare finds, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more stories about coins that could change your life. And now, go grab your piggy bank, start digging through those pennies, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin before. Who knows? The next millionaire might just be you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking coin finds in history, the 1985 D Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this little copper coin, the one you probably overlooked in your change jar, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. That's right, a single penny that could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, or even fund your dream vacation for life. Now, I know what you're thinking. A 1985 penny? Really? I've probably spent hundreds of those without a second thought. Well, don't feel too bad. Most people don't realize what they're holding until it's too late. But today, I'm here to make sure you never let a fortune slip through your fingers again. So grab your old coin jar, a comfy seat, and maybe a magnifying glass, because by the end of this video, you might just become a millionaire from a single penny. Let's get into it. Why is the 1985 D penny so valuable? Alright, let's break it down. The 1985 D penny was minted in Denver, and at first glance, it looks like any other penny. But here's the kicker, there are some extremely rare error versions of this coin that make it one of the most valuable pennies in existence. The most famous 1985 D penny error is the double die obverse. This means the front of the coin was stamped twice, causing slight but noticeable doubling in Lincoln's features and the inscriptions. If you find one of these in mint condition, you're looking at a serious payday. Then, there's the ultra-rare off-metal strike. Some 1985 D pennies were mistakenly struck on brass planchets instead of copper-plated zinc. These rare mistakes can send collectors into a bidding frenzy, and let's not forget the full red MS69 graded coins. If your 1985 D penny has a flawless, bright red luster, collectors will pay six figures or more for it. The one that got away now, let me tell you a quick story about my friend Mike. Mike used to work as a cashier at a gas station. One day, he was counting his drawer at the end of his shift when he noticed a strangely shiny 1985 D penny. It looked brighter and sharper than any other penny he'd ever seen. But instead of keeping it, he tossed it in the register like any other coin. A few years later, he got into coin collecting and learned about the rare 1985 D penny. That's when it hit him, he had seen one with his own eyes and let it go. He even went back to his old gas station, hoping it might still be in circulation, but no luck. That coin could have been his golden ticket, but instead, someone else probably spent it on a pack of gum. Now, let's talk about what to look for. If you've got a 1985 D penny, here's how you can tell if it's worth big bucks. Look for doubling on the date, Lincoln's face, or the inscriptions. A magnifying glass helps. Check for a rare metal composition. A brass or copper error penny will weigh slightly more than a regular one. Inspect the color. A full red, uncirculated penny with no damage is worth the most. Get it graded. If you suspect you have a valuable penny, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to get an official grade. Current market value. How much is this bad boy actually selling for? Barely a cent. A double die error in good condition? $5,000 to $50,000. A mint state red 1985 D penny graded MS69? Up to $200,000. And the rarest off-metal strike version? That's the one sitting at $1.30 million. Yup, you heard that right, one tiny coin, worth more than a Lamborghini. Always check your change, because you never know what treasure you might be holding. In the 1985 D Lincoln penny has rare errors that can make it worth millions. Don't be like Mike. If something looks unique, keep it, research it, and get it appraised. Now, if you found this video helpful, or if you're currently dumping your coin jar all over your kitchen table, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tips on finding valuable coins. And before you go, drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Hey there, coin lovers! Have you ever found a penny on the ground and just walked right past it? Or maybe you picked it up, but only because of that whole find a penny, pick it up, all day long you'll have good luck thing? Well, what if I told you that one of those pennies, just a regular old Lincoln penny from 1967 with no mint mark, could be worth a whopping $1.50 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $1.5 million. For a penny. Now, before you start raiding your piggy bank or checking under the couch cushions, stick around, because I'm about to break down why this seemingly ordinary coin is so insanely valuable. We're talking history, key errors, and what to look for if you want to cash in on one of these rare beauties. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Alright, first, let's go back to 1967. The Beatles were topping the charts, gas was 33 cents a gallon. I know. Imagine filling your tank for a couple of bucks, and the US Mint was trying to recover from the chaos of the coin shortage of the 1960s. During this time, the Mint was so overwhelmed that they decided to remove mint marks altogether from coins between 1965 and 1967. That means every penny from 1967 has no mint mark, so at first glance, you might think they're all the same. But oh boy, they are not. What makes some of these coins worth thousands or even millions? Rare errors and specific conditions. What makes this penny worth $1.50 million? You're probably thinking, okay, but why would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? Well, my friend, here's what you need to know. Point 1: of the biggest reasons certain 1967 pennies are valuable is due to a double die obverse (DDO) error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die but slightly misaligned, causing the text and design to appear doubled. If you see Lincoln's face looking a little blurry or the words Liberty and In God We Trust appearing doubled, cha-ching, you might be looking at a fortune. Condition is everything in the coin world. If you have a 1967 penny in mint state, MS67 or higher, meaning it looks nearly flawless with a shiny, uncirculated surface, you're in the money. Literally. To put it into perspective, most pennies from 1967 are worth just a few cents. But if yours is one of those rare, perfectly preserved ones, collectors are willing to drop serious cash on it, up to $1.50 million. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. The US Mint produced a special mint set, SMS, version of the 1967 penny. These were meant to be higher quality, almost proof-like coins with a smoother, shinier finish. Some of these have ultra-rare errors that make them worth insane amounts. Alright, now that I've got you dreaming about becoming a penny millionaire, let's talk about how you can actually check if you have one of these rare coins. Grab a magnifying glass, or just zoom in with your phone camera, and look closely at Lincoln's face, the lettering, and the date. If you see any doubling, congratulations, you might be onto something big. If your penny looks like it just rolled out of the mint, with little to no scratches or wear, it's more likely to be valuable. Coins in MS67 or higher condition are the jackpot winners. If you think you found something special, don't just throw it on eBay and hope for the best. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll officially grade it and authenticate its value, which is crucial if you're looking to sell. Now, let me tell you a quick personal story about how I almost missed out on a rare coin. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic, and we stumbled across an old jar full of pennies. Being the coin nerd that I am, I decided to go through them, just for fun. And guess what? I found a 1967 penny that looked pristine. At first, I thought, cool, a shiny old penny, but then I remembered hearing about the rare SMS versions. I sent it in for grading, and while it wasn't quite the $1 million jackpot, it was still worth a few $100. Moral of the story? Always check your change, and never underestimate a penny. So, there you have it, folks. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny might just be one of the most shocking treasures hiding in plain sight. If you have one of these pennies, check for errors, get it graded, and who knows? You could be sitting on $1 million coin without even realizing it. Before you go, make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin hunting tips, rare finds, and strategies to make money with your spare change. And Hank, next time you see a penny on the ground, pick it up. It just might change your life. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through your spare change, just looking for enough to buy a coffee, when suddenly, bam! You spot a regular old penny. Or so you think. Little do you know, that tiny coin could be worth a life-changing $1.60 million. I know it sounds like something out of a movie, right? But stick around, because today, we're diving into the shocking reality of how a 2016 no mint mark Lincoln penny became worth a small fortune. We'll talk about how to spot one, what makes it special, and most importantly, how you might have one sitting in your pocket right now. And hey, before we jump in, hit that subscribe button because I've got plenty more hidden coin treasures to share with you. How can a 2016 penny be worth $1.60 million? Alright, so you're probably wondering, how in the world is a penny from just a few years ago worth more than my car? Great question. The answer lies in a combination of rarity, errors, and collector demand. Let's break it down. The US Mint pumps out billions of pennies every year. Most of them are worth, well, a penny. But every now and then, a mistake happens, a misprint, a rare metal composition, or some tiny flaw that turns an ordinary coin into a collector's dream, and that's exactly what happened with the 2016 no mint mark Lincoln penny. So here's the deal, most modern pennies have a mint mark that tells you where they were made. You'll usually see a little P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. But this 2016 penny? No mint mark now. You might be thinking, wait a second, isn't that normal for pennies from Philadelphia? And you'd be right, Philadelphia pennies often don't have mint marks. But this particular batch had something else going on. Some of these pennies were struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, a rare error that made them way more valuable than your average pocket change. Instead of the usual copper-plated zinc, some were mistakenly struck on solid copper planchets. And because this was never supposed to happen, only a handful of these rare pennies exist. Here's where things get really interesting. One of these rare 2016 no mint mark pennies ended up at an auction, and collectors lost their minds. It started at a few $1,000s, then jumped to six figures, and before you know it, boom. Someone dropped a cool $1.6 million on this little coin. Imagine that. 1 minute, someone's buying a soda with this penny, and the next, it's sitting in a high security case, getting treated like a piece of fine art. Okay, now that you're probably staring at every penny in your house, here's what to look for. This part is key. If your 2016 penny has a D or an S, it's not the one. Weird color or weight. If the penny looks slightly off in color or feels heavier than a regular penny, it could be a rare copper planchet error. A lot of these error coins were struck with sharper details than usual. If Lincoln's hair and the lettering are extra crisp, you might be onto something. If you find one that fits these details, don't spend it. Take it to a coin expert, get it graded, and who knows, you could be sitting on a fortune. So, funny story, I actually used to ignore pennies completely. I mean, we all do, right? They're those annoying little coins that pile up in your car, between couch cushions, and at the bottom of your bag. But one day, I saw a guy at a gas station pick up a penny from the ground, stare at it, and say, "You never know, this could be worth more than the gas I'm pumping." I laughed, but later that night, I went through my own change just for fun. And let me tell you, I have never looked at a penny the same way again. So, what's the lesson here? Check your change. That humble little penny in your pocket could be worth more than a brand new Tesla, and if you don't find one? No worries. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden treasures, and I'm here to help you find them. If you liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more money-making coin tips, and drop a comment. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change? Let me know. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one single 2001 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? That's right. A tiny copper coin that most people wouldn't even bother picking up could actually make you a millionaire. Come on, a 2001 penny? That's too new to be valuable. But trust me, there's more to this story than meets the eye. And by the end of this video, you'll be checking your pocket change like it's the winning lottery ticket. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's dive into the wild and surprising world of valuable pennies. Oh, and stick around to the end because I'll share a personal story about how I almost missed out on a valuable coin, and trust me, you don't want to make the same mistake. Alright, let's break this down. Why is a 2001 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth a staggering $1.7 million? It all comes down to rarity, errors, and collector demand. First things first, what does no mint mark even mean? Normally, pennies have a tiny letter under the date indicating where they were made. A D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or nothing at all for Philadelphia. Most 2001 pennies were struck with the usual specifications, but a rare batch accidentally left the US Mint without a mint mark under some strange circumstances. This wasn't intentional. Some speculate it was a die error, while others believe a rogue mint employee may have let these slip through on purpose. Either way, these rare no-mint mark 2001 pennies became an instant collector's dream. Not every 2001 no-mint mark penny is worth a fortune. The one that recently sold for $1.7 million was in pristine condition, meaning it had never been circulated and had zero scratches, dirt, or wear. Collectors go absolutely crazy for coins in high grades, especially when they have rare errors. A few key things that can skyrocket the value of a penny like this include: that's coin grading speak for, this thing looks brand new. Some of these rare 2001 pennies also have a double stamp design, making them even rarer. Some were accidentally stamped on a different metal, which makes them ultra rare. Put all of these together, and you've got a tiny copper jackpot. Okay, I gotta check my piggy bank ASAP. But before you go flipping over every penny you find, here's exactly what to look for. If there's a D or S, it's just a regular penny. The better the condition, the more valuable it is. Any weird doubling in the letters or numbers, this could be a double die error, which makes it even more valuable. If it looks slightly off, you might have something special. So next time you get change at the grocery store, don't just toss those pennies aside. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was digging through an old coin jar, the one we all have where we throw loose change when we're too lazy to put it in our wallets. I was sorting through the pennies, looking for rare ones, and boom, I found a 2001 penny with no mint marked. I got excited, thinking I might have hit the jackpot. But here's where I almost messed up. I was about to spend it. Yep, I almost used a potentially rare penny to buy a pack of gum. Luckily, at the last second, I had a gut feeling and decided to check it out first. It turned out not to be the rare $1 million version, but it was still worth a couple $100. Not bad for a penny. The lesson here? Always double check your coins before spending them. That sometimes, the most valuable things are hiding in plain sight. A simple 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could change your life if you're lucky enough to find the right one. And hey, even if you don't stumble upon a $1 million penny, there are tons of other rare coins out there waiting to be discovered. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more hidden coin treasures. And before you go, let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Alright, folks, buckle up because today we're diving into a wild story that's going to make you check every penny in your piggy bank. Imagine this: you're digging through some old change, maybe buying a coffee, and you spot a 1978 D Lincoln penny. No big deal, right? Just another penny? Wrong. That little copper beauty could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.80 million. Yeah, you heard that right. One single penny, the kind you probably ignore when you see it on the sidewalk, could be worth more than a mansion, a luxury car, and a lifetime supply of pizza combined. And if you think this is just some urban legend, hold on, because I've got the receipts, the history, and the cold hard facts to prove that this penny is the real deal. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes the 1978 D Lincoln penny so valuable and how you can spot one in your own collection. Why would anyone pay $1.8 million for one? Well, let's start with the basics. This penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, and was part of the standard Lincoln Memorial Penny series. But here's where things get interesting. There are certain rare error pennies from this year that make collectors go absolutely nuts. We're talking about misprints, doubled dies, off-center strikes, and some bizarre minting anomalies that turned an ordinary penny into a millionaire's dream. Now, before we get into the nerdy details, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Mike, is a casual coin collector. He's not out here with a magnifying glass, inspecting every penny like a detective. He just casually looks through his change point one day. He's at a garage sale, buys an old coin jar for like $5, and boom, hidden inside was a 1978 D penny with a major mint error. Now, I'm not saying it was worth $1.8 million, but let's just say he made enough from that penny to buy a brand new motorcycle. Moral of the story? Always check your change. So, what makes the rare versions of the 1978 D penny so valuable? Well, here are a few reasons. Some 1978 D pennies have a noticeable doubling effect on Lincoln's profile or the lettering. If you see one, you might be sitting on a gold mine. Off-center strikes. If the penny was struck off-center at the mint, collectors will pay big bucks for it. Wrong metal composition. Now, this is the real jackpot. Some rare 1978 D pennies were mistakenly minted on a silver planchet instead of copper. That's like finding a golden ticket in your Wonka bar. Huge money, alright, so now you're probably thinking, how do I know if I have one of these rare pennies? Easy. Grab a magnifying glass and check for any doubling on the letters or Lincoln's head, weird weight differences. Use a scale if you can, any off-center design or crazy misprints if you spot any of these things. Don't just toss that penny back into your pocket, get it checked by a coin expert ASAP. A pristine, rare 1978D penny recently sold for $1.8 million at auction. Even if yours isn't the holy grail of errors, it could still be worth thousands. Alright, let's recap. The 1978D Lincoln penny might just be the most valuable coin hiding in your spare change. If you've got one, check for errors, get it verified, and don't sell yourself short. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, hidden treasures, and how to turn pocket change into real cash, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss my next video, because trust me, there are even crazier coins out there waiting to be found. Hey, what's up, everyone? Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that a regular-looking 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could actually be worth $1.1 million? That's right, 1 cent could literally make you a millionaire now. Before you go flipping over your couch cushions and digging through your car's cup holders, stick with me because I'm about to break down why this specific penny is so valuable, how to know if you have one, and what you can do if you find it. And hey, if you love learning about rare coins that could change your life, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got plenty more money-making coin secrets coming your way, okay? Let's start with the big question, how on earth can a 2016 penny be worth over $1 million? It's not even that old. Well, this comes down to a combination of rarity, errors, and collector demand. Some 2016 Lincoln pennies were struck with a special kind of error, making them extremely valuable to collectors. We're talking about things like, if you see letters that look slightly doubled or ghosted, you might have a winner. If Lincoln's head looks like it's trying to escape off the edge of the coin, that's a good sign. Sometimes, pennies get struck on a different type of metal by mistake. Imagine a penny made out of silver. Yep, those exist. That one time I almost struck Goldie used to think all pennies were basically worthless. One day, I was at a gas station, and I dropped a penny while grabbing my change. The guy behind me jokingly said, "Better pick that up. You never know, it might be rare." I laughed it off, but later that night, curiosity got the best of me. I started looking up rare pennies, and that's when I fell down the rabbit hole of coin collecting. I ended up finding a 1982D small day copper penny that was worth a few $100. Ever since then, I've been checking my change like a detective. How to tell if you have a 2016 no-mint mark $1 million penny? Alright, so let's say you have a 2016 penny. How do you know if it's the jackpot coin? Here's what to check. First, make sure there's no small letter under the date. If there's a D or S, it's not the one. Look for doubled letters, strange marks, or anything that looks off. A normal 2016 penny should weigh 2.5 grams, but if yours is heavier or lighter, it could be an error coin. And if you think you found one, take it to a professional coin grader, like PCGS or NGC. You don't want to accidentally spend $1 million coin on a vending machine snack. Collectors go crazy for error coins because they're unique. It's like owning a one-of-a-kind piece of history. Plus, the 2016 penny is relatively modern, meaning it's still floating around in everyday circulation. That makes the hunt even more exciting. You don't have to buy expensive gold bars or old relics. The treasure could literally be sitting in your pocket right now. So, the next time you see a penny on the ground, pick it up. It might just be your ticket to becoming a millionaire. The 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that even the smallest things can hold massive value. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the most interesting or valuable coin you've ever found? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if you want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more crazy coin stories coming your way. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Imagine this, you're digging through your pocket change, maybe grabbing a few pennies for the parking meter, and boom, you realize one of those tiny copper coins is actually worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Crazy, right? Well, today we're talking about one of the most unexpected moneymakers in the world of coins, the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. You might have one sitting in a jar right now, completely unaware that you could be holding a fortune in your hands. In this video, I'm breaking down everything you need to know about this valuable penny, how to identify it, why it's so rare, and, of course, how you can cash in if you happen to find one. And stick around till the end because I'll be sharing a hilarious personal story about how I almost spent a valuable penny on a vending machine snack. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.so. What's the deal with this little penny? It looks like any other, right? But here's the kicker, there was a rare die transition error in 1988 that created a super valuable variation of the Lincoln penny. If you flip over a regular 1988 penny, you'll see the famous Lincoln Memorial on the back. But what most people don't know is that in 1988, the US Mint accidentally used a 1989 reverse die on some 1988 pennies. This mix-up caused a rare design difference that most folks would never notice until now. Now, if you're thinking, okay, cool, but how do I know if I have one? Don't worry, I got you a first. Grab a magnifying glass or use the zoom on your phone camera. You'll want to check out the back of the coin, specifically the FG initials, which stand for Frank Gasparo, the coin's designer. On the rare version, the FG initials are spaced differently, and the letter G has a unique shape. If your 1988 penny has this error, congratulations, you're looking at a potentially life-changing coin, and if you're still unsure, don't worry. You can always take your penny to a coin expert or a local coin shop to verify if you hit the jackpot. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay, a weird G, but why would someone pay over $1 million for this thing? Only a tiny number of these 1988 pennies were mistakenly struck with the 1989 reverse die, making them extremely rare. Die variety collectors and coin enthusiasts go crazy for these kinds of errors. In top-notch condition, one of these coins was auctioned for $1.20 million. Yep, you heard that right. Someone literally paid over $1 million for a penny. If that's not wild, I don't know what is. The penny I almost lost. Now, let me tell you a story that still haunts me to this day. A few years ago, I was at a gas station, low on cash, and craving a snack. I reached into my pocket, pulled out some coins, and bought a bag of chips. No big deal, right? Well, a few months later, I got into coin collecting and started learning about rare pennies. That's when I remembered I had a 1988 penny with no mint mark that I casually spent on a vending machine. To this day, I have no idea if it was the rare one, but I'll always wonder if I just ate $1 million snack. Moral of the story? Check your change before you spend it. The shocking truth about the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth a whopping $1.20 million. Now it's your turn. Go through your piggy banks, wallets, and that random jar of coins in your kitchen. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on these money-making finds. Also, let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? I'd love to hear your stories. Hey, everyone. Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one tiny penny in your pocket could be worth a staggering $1.2 million? Yep, you heard me right. Today, we're diving into the surprising value of the 2017 Lincoln penny, and trust me, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Now, before you go dumping out your piggy bank or flipping over every couch cushion in your house, stick with me. I'm going to break down exactly why this coin is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you might just have one sitting in a jar somewhere. And if you do, well, let's just say early retirement might be on the table, so grab your coin collection, or at least check your pockets, because this is going to be a fun ride. Oh, and don't forget to hit that like button if you love discovering hidden treasure in everyday places. Let's get into it, the story behind the 2017 Lincoln penny. Okay, first things first, what's so special about this penny? The 2017 Lincoln penny is unique because it was the first and only time the Philadelphia Mint placed a P mint mark on a penny. This was done to celebrate the US Mint's 225th anniversary. Before that, pennies from Philly never had a mint mark, making this a pretty big deal for collectors. Now, here's the kicker. While billions of these pennies were made, only a tiny fraction have rare errors or special conditions that make them insanely valuable. And that is where the $1 million magic happens. Not every 2017 penny is going to make you a millionaire, but certain features can make yours skyrocket in value. Let's break them down. Some 2017 pennies were struck with double dies, misalignments, or even off-center prints. These kinds of mistakes can send collectors into a frenzy. High-grade condition, MS70 or close to it. If your penny is in pristine condition, meaning it looks as fresh as the day it was made, it could be worth serious money. The shinier and more perfect, the better. Some 2017 pennies might have been mistakenly struck on the wrong metal planchets. If you find one that's oddly colored or heavier than usual, get it checked out. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, so how do I know if my 2017 penny is special? Great question. Step 1, grab a magnifying glass or, if you're fancy, one of those jeweler's loupes. You'll want to inspect the penny for this means Lincoln's face or the lettering looks slightly duplicated, mint errors like missing letters, cracks, or off-center strikes. The closer it is to a perfect, uncirculated state, the better. If you think you've hit the jackpot, the next step is getting it authenticated. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can give you an official grade and tell you if your penny is truly rare. Alright, confession time. A few years ago, I was at a diner, and after paying the bill, I tossed the change into my car's cup holder like I always do. Months later, I was cleaning out my car, which, let's be honest, was long overdue, and I found a super shiny penny. Instead of ignoring it, I decided to check it out, and guess what? It was a rare misprint worth a few $100. No. But it taught me a valuable lesson: always check your change. That penny could have ended up lost forever in a vending machine or stuck under a car seat for eternity. So if you ever think, oh, it's just a penny, think again. Now, here's what you really came for: the price tag. While a regular 2017 penny might only be worth face value, a high-grade or error version can be worth tens of thousands to over $1 million. In fact, one of the rarest 2017 pennies sold for a whopping $1.2 million at auction. Why? Because collectors go nuts for history-making coins, and this was a one-year-only mint mark that will never be made again. Combine that with rarity, errors, and condition, and you've got the perfect recipe for a high-value coin. Mint errors and high grades can turn a simple penny into a jackpot. Your couch, car, or even that random coin jar might be hiding a fortune. Now, before you run off to inspect every penny in your house, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm always digging up more surprising coin values, collecting tips, and hidden treasures you never knew existed. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next one. Also, if you have an interesting coin find or want me to cover another rare penny, drop it in the comments below. Who knows, your story might be featured in my next video. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, meh, just another penny? Well, hold up. Because today, we're talking about a 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny that could buy you a mansion, a Ferrari, or a lifetime supply of tacos. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions, let me tell you why this little copper coin is so valuable, how you can spot one, and most importantly, how you might just be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. So, grab your coin jar, a magnifying glass, and maybe a snack, because we're diving deep into the world of rare pennies. And if you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button because I've got more mind-blowing coin finds that could make you rich. Normally, a 1968 penny should have either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But some pennies from that year mysteriously don't have a mint mark. That's where the magic happens. And now, how did this happen? There are a few theories. Some say the US Mint accidentally forgot to stamp the mint mark on a small batch of these pennies before releasing them into circulation. Others believe a rogue mint worker might have removed the mark on purpose. Whatever the case, these no-mint mark 1968 pennies are super rare, and collectors are willing to pay insane money to get their hands on one. Now, don't go breaking open your piggy bank just yet. Here's what you need to look for. This is the biggest clue. Flip the penny over and check under the date. If there's no D or S, you might be onto something. The better the condition, the higher the value. If it looks like it just left the mint yesterday, you're in luck. Wait, check. A genuine 1968 no-mint mark penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's off, you might have a counterfeit. Alright, so why are collectors throwing big bucks at this penny? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. Coins with errors, especially ones that shouldn't exist, are like the lost episodes of a TV show. Everyone wants them. A 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine condition was auctioned for $1.3 million because it's one of only a handful known to exist. It was graded MS67, which basically means it's in near-perfect condition. Collectors love rare minting mistakes. Let me tell you something that still haunts me. A few years ago, I found a 1968 penny in my pocket change. I remember looking at it and thinking, looks kinda weird. But guess what? I spent it on a pack of gum. Months later, I started getting into coin collecting and read about the no mint mark 1968 penny. My stomach dropped. I still wonder to this day if I had the $1,000,000 coin in my hands and didn't even know it. Moral of the story? Check your change before you spend it. If you're lucky enough to find one, here's what to do next: don't clean it. Even if it looks dirty, scrubbing it can lower its value. Get it graded. Send it to PCGS or NGC, they're the top coin grading companies. Auction it off. Big auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers can get you top dollar. Other coins you should look out for if you love the thrill of the hunt. Here are other valuable pennies to keep an eye out for. Worth over $1 million, worth up to $125,000, worth thousands. Another big money coin. Who knew something as small as a penny could be worth a huge fortune? So, the next time you see a 1968 penny, take a second look. You might be holding a life-changing fortune in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on rare coins worth money, make sure to, who knows? Your next penny could be worth more than your car. Stay curious, keep checking your change, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy hunting! Hey there, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through an old jar of pennies, thinking they're all just spare change, when boom! You find out one of them is worth a staggering $1.4 million. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about one of the most surprising hidden gems in the coin world, the 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You might be thinking, wait, a penny from the 90s? That's not even old. And that's exactly what makes this so mind-blowing. This is the kind of thing that makes me second-guess every coin I've ever spent on a vending machine. Who knew that a single cent could be worth more than a mansion? So, grab your change jar, because by the end of this video, you might be checking every penny you own. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on this one. Alright, let's break it down. This penny looks pretty normal at first glance. It's got good old Abe Lincoln on the front, like every other Lincoln cent. But here's where things get interesting: it doesn't have a mint mark. That means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which normally puts no mint mark on their pennies. Okay, so what's the big deal, you ask? Well, not all 1991 pennies are created equal. Some of them, very few, in fact, have unique errors or rare features that make them insanely valuable. And before you say, there's no way I'd ever find one, let me tell you about my own near miss. A while back, I was helping my grandma clean out some old boxes. She had this giant jar of pennies, and being the coin nerd I am, I started checking them. I wasn't expecting much, just a few wheat pennies here and there. But then, I found a 1991 penny with no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be it? Could I be holding a fortune in my hand? I quickly grabbed my phone, looked up the rare details, and realized it was just a regular penny. 1 cent. I was so close, yet so far. Alright, so what makes some 1991 no mint mark Lincoln pennies worth more than others? It all comes down to a few key things. Some of these pennies were struck with mistakes, like double dies, off-center strikes, or even a rare composition error. One of the most valuable ones was struck on a bronze planchet instead of zinc, which was supposed to be phased out years earlier. B. Condition matters. The highest value pennies are usually in mint state condition, meaning they look like they just left the factory. A perfectly preserved 1991 no mint mark penny in top condition recently sold for $1.4 million at auction. Okay, now for the $1,000,000 question, literally. How do you know if you have this jackpot penny? Look for errors like doubling in the lettering, a weirdly thick rim, or an off-center strike. A normal 1991 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is heavier, around 3.1 grams, you might have the rare bronze version. If your penny looks like it's been run over by a truck, it's probably not gonna be worth $1 million. 5. Where to sell your penny if you strike gold? So, let's say you just found the holy grail of 1991 pennies, what now? You don't want to just toss it on eBay for a few bucks. Here's what to do. Organizations like PCGS or NGC can grade your coin and verify its value. The best sales happen at major coin auctions, where serious collectors will bid big money out. If someone offers you $50 for your rare penny, they're probably trying to rip you off. So there you have it, folks. A 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth $1.4 million. And the best part? You might have one sitting in your pocket right now. I don't know about you, but I'm about to start paying for everything with exact change, just in case I accidentally spend a fortune on a cup of coffee. If you loved this video and want to learn more about hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I drop new videos all the time about rare coins worth serious cash, so don't miss out. Now go check your pennies, and if you find $1 million coin, let me know in the comments. I promise I won't be jealous, okay, maybe just a little. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through your old piggy bank, looking for spare change, when you stumble upon a simple, worn-out penny. Nothing special, right? But what if I told you that this ordinary-looking 1966 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a life-changing $1.50 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny, worth more than a mansion, a Ferrari, or even your student loans, twice over. Today, we're diving deep into the mind-blowing value of the 1966 no-mint mark penny. We'll talk about what makes it so rare, how to tell if you have one, and the hilarious story of how someone almost threw one away before realizing they were holding a fortune. Alright, so what's so special about the 1966 Lincoln penny? I mean, it's just a penny, right? Wrong. Here's the deal: most 1966 pennies aren't rare. The US Mint produced over 2.2 billion of them. That's billion with a B. But there's a tiny fraction of them that are absolute goldmines, and it all comes down to two things. The US Mint actually stopped using mint marks from 1965 to 1967 to prevent coin hoarding. But certain error coins from this period turned out to be incredibly valuable. Some of these pennies were struck with sharper details and a proof-like shine, making them extra rare. Now, I know what you're thinking: how do I know if I have one? Don't worry, we'll get to that. Now, let's get into the good stuff. Why is this coin worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million? Well, it all comes down to these factors. Some of the most valuable 1966 pennies have rare minting errors, like this happens when the coin is struck twice, creating a slightly doubled image. If your penny has a ghost-like second image, cha-ching. Ever seen a penny where Lincoln's head is way off to the side? That's an error, and collectors love those. If your penny has a deep red, untouched shine, you could be sitting on serious cash. Even though billions of these were made, only a few were struck with these errors, making them super rare. And in the coin collecting world, rarity equals $. Okay, so now you're probably running to check your old coin jars, right? But before you quit your day job, here's how to tell if your 1966 penny is the golden ticket, no mint mark. You're off to a good start. Use a magnifying glass to look for doubling on the date, letters, or Lincoln's face. If your penny is bright red and uncirculated, it's even better. Step 4. Weigh it. Some rare ones were struck on different planchets and might be heavier or lighter than usual. If you've got one that checks these boxes, get it professionally graded ASAP, because you might be holding a small, copper fortune. Now, let me tell you a quick story that will make you triple check every penny you ever touch. There was this guy, let's call him Dave. Dave was your average dude, loved football, hated Mondays, and never thought much about loose change. One day, his grandma gave him a jar of old pennies and said, "You never know, one of these could be worth something." Dave laughed, dumped them in his car's cup holder, and forgot about them, until one day, while buying coffee, he almost spent a 1966 no-mint mark penny worth over $1 million. Lucky for him, the cashier noticed something was off about the penny and refused to take it. Dave got curious, looked it up, and boom, turns out it was the real deal. The surprising truth about the 1966 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.5 million. Who knew that something so small could be worth so much? Have you ever found a rare or valuable coin? Drop a comment below and share your story. And if you're sitting on a jar of old pennies right now, you might just be holding your future mansion in your hands. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more coin collecting tips, money-making strategies, and crazy stories about valuable coins you could be spending without even knowing it. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. What if I told you that a simple penny, yep, that little copper coin jingling at the bottom of your pocket, could be worth a whopping $1.7 million? Sounds crazy, right? Well, grab your coin jar and start digging, because today, we're diving deep into the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has shocked collectors and casual finders alike with its insane value. Now, I know what you're thinking: how can a regular old penny be worth more than a luxury sports car? Well, stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll not only know why but also how you might just have one of these gold mines sitting in your house right now. Oh, And fair warning, by the time we're done, you might never look at pennies the same way again. First off, you might already know that US coins usually have a mint mark, a tiny letter that tells you where it was made. The Denver Mint uses a D, San Francisco uses an S, and Philadelphia, well, sometimes they don't mark their pennies at all. That's where things get interesting. In 1987, most pennies from Philadelphia were supposed to have a mint mark. But some? They didn't. A mistake? Maybe. A sign from the coin gods? Who knows? But what we do know is that these no mint mark pennies are now considered super rare, and that rarity is what makes them so valuable. But let's talk real numbers. A normal 1987 penny? Maybe a cent, maybe a few bucks if it's in perfect condition. But the rare error coins without a mint mark? One was recently auctioned for a mind-blowing $1.70 million. Now, before you start flipping over every 1987 penny you find, let's talk about what makes these specific coins valuable. There are a few key things you need to look for. Obviously, this is the big one. If your 1987 penny has a D or an S, sorry, it's not the jackpot. But if there's nothing there? Now you're in the game. Collectors are picky. They want shiny, near-perfect coins, ones that look like they just rolled off the minting press. A penny in poor condition might still be worth something, but if yours is crisp and clean? That's where the real money is. Some of these valuable 1987 no-mint mark pennies also have other errors, things like double strikes, off-center prints, or weird die cracks. If you spot anything unusual, don't spend it. You might have a true collector's piece. Now, I have to tell you a little story about how I first got hooked on rare pennies. It all started one lazy Sunday afternoon. I was at my grandma's house, helping her roll up coins to take to the bank. Yeah, real thrilling weekend plans, I know. But as I was stacking pennies, I noticed one that just looked different. I couldn't put my finger on it at first, but it was shinier, smoother, and just off. I set it aside, thinking, might be something. A few weeks later, I took it to a coin dealer, expecting maybe $5, $10 if I was lucky. You know what he told me? That penny was worth $200. Now, it wasn't one of these $1.7 million 1987 no-mint mark pennies, but still, it blew my mind. I had been holding on to a mini fortune without even realizing it. It's part history, part mystery, and part straight-up treasure hunting. You never know when you might stumble onto something worth life-changing money. So what do you do if you think you've got a 1987 no-mint mark penny that could be worth a fortune? Here's the plan. Seriously, those tiny details matter. Check for missing mint marks, errors, and any weird inconsistencies. Websites like PCGS or Numismatic News can give you an idea of how much similar coins have sold for. If you think you've got something valuable, don't just take it to the bank, take it to a professional who knows their stuff. If your coin is in exceptional condition, having it professionally graded can skyrocket its value. Always check your loose change and even old piggy banks. You'd be surprised how many valuable coins are just sitting around, waiting for someone to notice them. Alright, friends, we've covered a lot today: the story behind the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, what makes it so valuable, and how you can potentially find one worth $1.70 million. But here's the thing, this is just one example. There are tons of rare coins out there, hiding in plain sight. You might have a $100,000 dime in your car's cup holder right now, so if you love the thrill of finding hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got more coin secrets coming your way. And hey, who knows? The next time you check your pocket change, you might just become a millionaire. Alright, let's start with a quick question. What if I told you that a simple penny, a coin you might have in your pocket right now, could be worth a life-changing $1.8 million? Sounds crazy, right? But stick with me because today, we're diving into the story of the 2002 Lincoln penny, the unassuming little copper coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm. Before we get into what makes this penny worth a fortune, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage, and we stumbled upon an old jar filled with pennies. He jokingly said, "Well, that's my retirement fund." We laughed, but little did we know, he was actually onto something. A few weeks later, he took those pennies to a coin shop and, no joke, one of them turned out to be worth hundreds of dollars. Ever since then, I've been obsessed with rare and valuable coins, and trust me, this 2002 penny is one you don't want to overlook. This penny was minted in Denver in 2002, which means it has a small D mint mark right below the date. Most people wouldn't think twice about it. After all, it's a modern penny, nothing special, right? But here's where things get interesting. There are a few reasons why certain 2002 D pennies are worth way more than face value. The biggest reason? Minting errors and rare variations. Coin collectors go absolutely wild for these things. Let's break down some key factors that make this particular penny a jackpot. Some 2002 D pennies were struck on the wrong type of planchet, meaning instead of the usual copper-plated zinc composition, they were accidentally made using older, solid copper planchets. These weigh slightly more than regular pennies, and if you have one, congratulations, you might be sitting on a small fortune. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned in the press, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. The more off-center, the rarer it is. Collectors love these because they're one of a kind. Then there are doubled die errors. This happens when the coin is struck twice slightly out of alignment, causing some of the letters or numbers to appear doubled. If you see doubling on Lincoln's face, the date, or the words "In God We Trust," you might be onto something huge. Even if your 2002 D penny doesn't have a major error, condition matters a lot. Coins that have been well preserved with little to no wear can fetch thousands, even millions, at auction. In coin collecting, grading goes from 1, basically unrecognizable, to 70, perfect condition. A 2002 D penny graded MS69 or MS70 is what collectors dream about, and these ultra-high-grade specimens have been known to sell for astronomical prices. Supply and demand. There are only a handful of these rare error 2002 D pennies in existence, and when collectors get wind of something rare, they're willing to pay top dollar to own it. Just imagine two rich collectors locked in a bidding war over a single penny. Things can escalate quickly. If you see 2002 D, you're off to a good start. Weigh the penny. A normal penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is heavier, you might have a rare copper planchet error. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling or misalignment. If anything looks unusual, it's worth getting professionally graded. If you think you have a rare one, don't spend it. Get it appraised by a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Who knew a tiny, everyday penny could be worth millions? This just goes to show that treasure isn't always buried. It might just be sitting in your pocket or that old change jar in your kitchen. The next time you get a handful of pennies, take a closer look. You never know what hidden fortune you might be holding. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips on finding hidden gems in your pocket change, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. Also, if you've ever found a rare coin or have an interesting story about a surprising find, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear it.